So the dream team for week 1 of the June test. This is something I do for Super Rugby every week. Pick the best 15 players in kind of various different positions throughout the team. Same logic applies to the June Internationals with the 8 different teams we had in action. Not every team is represented in this 15. You can imagine that a couple of the performances weren't exactly stellar. But yeah, I've tried to get a good mix. Unfortunately, most of the games had at least a couple of standout players in each position. All the stats come from ESPN, so there might be a slight difference in the stats that they give compared to what the broadcasters gave. Like I seem to remember David Pocock was mentioned as having over 20 tackles in that Australia-Ireland game, but when I checked up his stats, it didn't seem to match up with that. So well, at least it's consistent across the players. So all these stats from ESPN, and yeah, let's have a look at the team. Oh, I should mention, I tend to go for guys who scored tries when possible. I mean, it's one of the pretty things about rugby is seeing guys score tries. So yeah, guys who score tries tend to get preference. Right, so start with the props. I've gone for Sekope Kepu from the Wallabies. Didn't pass the ball once. 1 run for 0 meters, which is just the ultimate propping stat. Their scrum was solid. He made 11 from 11 tackles, which is a pretty good work rate for a prop, and he didn't get penalised once, which again for a prop is kind of a danger zone, but he managed to avoid that, so a good effort from him. Next, from Wales, I've gone with Rob Evans. He was kind of a late replacement for Wyn Jones, as far as I'm aware. 2 passes, 4 runs, 3 meters. So pretty prop-like stats again. 13 out of 14 tackles is a very good return. And again, solid scrum and no penalties. So yeah, I think pretty good effort from him as well. Next, hooker from the All Blacks. I've gone with Cody Taylor. He scored a try. He got 2 try assists, which is just kind of stats that a fly half would be kind of envious of. 6 passes, including 2 offloads. 5 runs for 20 meters, which is a very good return for a hooker. Beat 1 defender. Lineout was operating at 100%. Made 4 from 5 tackles. So yeah, really good all-round performance from him. Injured Dane Coles is going to be looking over his shoulder with interest to see how Cody Taylor is coming along, because he's really upped his game and maybe challenging for that starting number 2 jersey in the All Blacks once Dane Coles is back fit. Second row, I've gone with R.J. Snyman from the Springboks. On his debut, he got a try assist, 7 passes, 8 runs for 53 meters, and it was pretty glorious seeing him in full flight at one point, which Bulls fans will be quite familiar with. 1 clean break, which was the full flight moment. 1 defender beaten, 10 out of 13 tackles, and his line-out work was pretty solid, including a steal at the end. So as far as debuts go, it was pretty much the ultimate. And yeah, once Diaka and Etzebeth are back fit, he's going to be knocking on the door for them as well, because he's really putting in some good performances. Next, I've gone with James Ryan from Ireland. Kind of talked up in the comments before the video, and I can see why. Really good engine on this guy. I mean, 2 passes, including 2 offloads. That's showing some good ball skills. 16 runs for 43 meters. 16 runs for a lock is huge. Yeah, just the work rate on this guy. I mean, you look at all these other guys. Kepu, 1 run. Evans, 4 runs. Taylor, 5 runs. Snyman, 8 runs. 16 runs. It's crazy. 43 meters made. 1 defender beaten, 1 clean break. 15 from 15 tackles. I don't know what this guy eats for breakfast, but it must be pretty high energy, because he's just running around like a madman. Line-out work solid as well, so very good effort. I can see why Irish fans are so excited about how far he can go. Next, from Wales, I've gone with Ross Moriarty. 5 passes, 4 runs, and 7 meters made is not is not really stats to write home about, but 26 out of 27 tackles. Like, that Wales side had to make a lot of tackles in that game, and this guy was making, I think that's more than a tenth of the tackles that they made. So, yeah, just massive effort from him. Again, whatever's he's eating for breakfast, other players should be having a look. Next, the aforementioned David Pocock. So he got a try, which was pretty key in terms of that game. 5 passes, 7 runs, 10 metres. 1 defender beaten. 15 out of 17 tackles, so probably not including some of the tackle assists that he made, and just his work at the breakdown was crucial to Australia kind of turn the ball over at key moments. Next, Tom Curry from England. So he's another one who's an exciting prospect for the future, like James Ryan. He's only 19, 1 pass, 3 runs, 23 metres. 23 metres from 3 runs is pretty good. 1 clean break, 2 defenders beaten, 20 out of 21 tackles. So, man, some of these guys are just always there to make the tackles. Moriarty and Curry being among them. So, yeah, I don't see why he can't be putting his hand up for a regular spot in that number 7 jersey for England going forward. Into the backs, gone with Faf de Klerk from the Springboks. He got a try, made 63 passes, which is a good effort. 3 offloads, which kind of shows you how much he was taking the ball to the line. So he had 8 runs, 27 metres, beat 2 defenders, made 3 out of 5 tackles, which is not too bad for a scrum half. And the way he controlled that game once the Springboks actually got some ball, it kind of shows that his time in the Northern Hemisphere has been good for his game, because he seems to have upped it a level. It's only 1 game, so it's hard to say, but certainly he impressed in that game. Next, fly half, I've gone with Beauden Barrett from the All Blacks. 1 try, 1 try assist. I admit his work from the kicking tee was pretty poor. He was at less than 50%. But other than that, his game was pretty good. 24 passes, 1 offload, 10 runs, 24 metres, 1 clean break, and 2 defenders beaten. So if he can get that boot thing right, he'll pretty much have the ultimate game going on. But it's one of those nights where it just didn't go his way. Sometimes he has those nights. Admittedly, a lot of kicks from the sideline, but yeah, you would hope that he would kind of increase those stats just a touch. Into the midfield, I've gone with Owen Farrell from England. So 1 try, 1 try assist. Only missed 1 kick, so kind of in terms of comparing with Barrett, better in that department. 8 passes, 3 runs, made 26 metres, 7 out of 9 tackles. So in a losing team, he was doing his job. Whether he's the long-term captain for England is another question, but in terms of a player, I don't think anyone doubts his quality. Next, gone with Kurtley Beale from the Wallabies. So 15 passes, 1 offload, 14 runs. So 15 passes, 14 runs is kind of a good mix of running it and distributing, because that's kind of his job in that number 12 jersey. Made 30 metres, 1 clean break, 3 defenders beaten. He kind of seemed to be taking more of the playmaking role than Foley in this game. Like, a lot of the kicks were coming through him rather than Foley, so that's the way Michael Cheika sets them up. We'll see if that kind of continues in the next game. Outside backs, hard to choose here because there were a lot of good guys who put their hands up. Johnny May, 1 try, 2 try assists, 3 passes, 7 runs, 84 metres, 4 clean breaks. It was pretty indicative of how that game was going early, plus his 1 late try. 6 defenders beaten, made 7 from 7 tackles, which for an outside back is pretty good. So, yeah, very good effort from him. I think he's one of the top performers in that England team, so we'll see if they can kind of lift for next week and see how he goes. Next on debut, another guy from the Springboks, Sibu Nkosi, 2 tries, 1 pass, 11 runs. So when that guy gets the ball, he's just generally going to put the pedal down. 106 metres, 5 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, made 10 from 10 tackles, which is also impressive. Like, these outside backs often when they're getting somebody running at them, it's a one-on-one or it's a difficult situation and they've got to make a tackle. He did it. Some criticism of him and Deontay's kind of positioning early on, but they must have fixed it. Hopefully, the experienced hander Willie LaRue was kind of in there just telling them to be in the right place at the right time. But whatever it is, it seemed to have worked. Once they shut that door, they managed to get some ball and get some go forward. Lastly, going with Rieko Ioane from the All Blacks. So again, 2 tries, 1 pass, 8 runs. So another man who, when he gets the ball, is pretty much going one direction. 144 meters. A lot of those would have been from that last try where he just ran length of the field. 3 clean breaks, 4 defenders beaten, 4 from 4 tackles. So all these 3 outside backs had 100% tackle rates. But like I said, positioning a bit of a question at times. But yeah, very good effort from him. And yeah, we'll see how he goes next week as well. I didn't get any players from France or Argentina on here, so I will just give a quick mention that Thomas from France, even though he didn't score, he still managed 53 meters in a team which didn't have the ball out wide for much of the game. Beat 6 defenders, which is huge, and he showed some real gas when he was chasing Ioane. He caught him up, and Ioane is pretty quick, so for him to kind of close that gap on him, and he forced them to score it kind of out wide rather than under the sticks. Yeah, that was some serious gas. And from Argentina, Boffelli, again, he didn't score, but he still beat 3 defenders. And in a team which was really struggling to get any penetration over that Welsh defence, still managed to run 92 metres with the ball. So yeah, if they can somehow work out that Welsh defence or get this guy into some space, he could really cause some damage. But anyway, this is the team. As always, there are some guys who had big nights who miss out, so you can let me know who you think that is in the comments. This is just my pick. But yeah, like I say, there's a lot of guys in some positions which were, like I think Hook is a pretty clear-cut one, but a lot of them there's a lot of other guys who really put their hands up as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I guess we'll look forward to the games coming up in a few days. All right, guys, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.